Hi, Craig here. Today I want to talk about DEF, diesel exhaust fluid, also called urea. And this fluid is used in the SCR to hydronize. It's supposed to hydronize and change NOx through a catalytic process into water and nitrogen, safe for human beings. So that's what's going to come out of the pipe. So what is this DEF system? So this is a liquid chemical that we add. We call it urea. It can be purchased easily. It's not expensive. It works out to be about 3% of the fuel requirements. I believe you can go through 2 full fuel tanks on a transport truck before you need to fill up your DEF. But it comes in drums and big barrels and little portable containers to make sure your DEF tanks are filled up. If your DEF runs low, it starts to derate your engine. A series of warning lights go off inside your cab, so there's no surprise to this. So it has to have the DEF in there to look after the NOx, and it's part of the after treatment system. So the thing we have to know about DEF is it freezes really easily, and in northern British Columbia, where we're at now, it's a constant problem to keep this stuff from freezing. Now in the morning, your tank full of DEF will be frozen, and I believe there is 1 hour for that to warm up and turn into liquid DEF from frozen DEF, so that the system will work. And it does that by having the tank heated by the cooling system. So in the morning when you start your truck up on a cold day, it's going to be running for 15 minutes while you do your paperwork and do your inspection of the truck. And by then it's going to be starting to warm up. Once you start moving that truck down the road, getting ready to go on a trip or loading it, there's going to be another 15 or 20 minutes, and that radiator is going to be full of hot fluid, and it's going to start to heat that DEF up. That DEF will heat up and become liquid very quickly, long before an hour, and then it'll be functional. So these are coolant lines going to the tank to warm up this frozen DEF. The tank from the DEF supply tank to the pump, there is a line. Now these are electrically heated. So as soon as this truck starts up, these lines start warming up. This line and to the dosing valve warms up, and then this goes into the after treatment system, and then there's a return line. So when this vehicle is shut down, there is a process where the pump will pump all the material back out of the lines back into the tank. The tank has a specific level that you cannot go above because DEF expands, and these lines could be full if you're filling it at that point. So we want to make sure we fill the DEF tank to the proper level. When we shut down the system, the pump will cycle all of the DEF back into the tank. If the tank freezes, that's okay. So these lines are electrically heated so that they will warm up, liquid DEF will flow. There's all sorts of, in the dosing valve, there's all sorts of temperature sensors, pressure sensors. It's quite a control unit to make sure that the DEF is injected at the right amount, at the right time, when basically, and I don't have it written in here, the computer for the system tells it to inject. And it will take all the information from the temperature sensors and the heat sensors to know when that's going to happen. So the hoses go empty, fills the tank. This happens at 12 degrees Fahrenheit, the freezing, and minus 11 Celsius, which makes sense to us. So it does freeze. It's designed to freeze. We're not supposed to make it ourselves. I'm not sure if this is an issue. If the DEF gets old, it can cause problems. It has to be done at the right level. It has to be measured. It has to be checked with a refractometer to see if the DEF is meeting the mixing requirements that it's supposed to. Typically, we've always bought it in jugs that are clean and prepared, but if you have an old truck that's been sitting for more than 3 months, you should consider inspecting the DEF and the DEF tank to make sure that it's meeting the standards of quality. If not, you could have derate, you could have plugging, you could have different problems. So that is the DEF system. Or urea. DEF is diesel exhaust fluid. Urea, which is hydrogenized into ammonia, that cleans our system. I hope you found this helpful.